God damn it. Okay.
Okay, start again. Go.
Hi, this is Rabia, and today is day 2 of Adnan's post-conviction relief hearing, and we are sitting in Baltimore City. I am across the street from the circuit court at a Dunkin' Donuts that I have spent way too much time at for the last couple of days. Today, I believe Asia has finished up her cross-examination, and then there's going to be redirect by Justin, and I believe that is also completed. What I understand now is that our cell phone expert, is going to be testifying, and I know he's excellent, and I wish I could be there to listen to it. I have heard that because there was some inconsistency maybe in Asia's stuff that they might call me to clarify. I don't know. Fine, whatever. I testified about this before, and I'll do it again. Nobody in the family or the friends can talk to me or will talk to me. They just walk out of the courtroom and say, "Don't talk to us because I'm sequestered." So, okay. But I asked him for a thumbs up or thumbs down, and everybody so far has given us a thumbs up, which is good, because what that means is that even through a very aggressive cross-examination, Asia held up well, and her testimony held up well, and it should, because we have been telling the truth and the same story. The spine of our story is the same, and so are like much of the other parts of it. So, it's a very simple story. Asia saw Adnan on January 13th after school at the library, which is on the same campus as the school. I mean, it's just not complicated. And so that's it.
Let me just have a few follow-up questions now.
Sure.
With the sequestration, from the time you were originally sequestered yesterday on day 1 in the morning, what further applications has Justin Brown made to have that sequestration lifted?
Oh, okay. So we did yesterday.
I've heard Colin Miller.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us all about that.
I made a emergency call to the evidence professor saying, "What we need you," and he's so good with this. And co-host of Undisclosed, of course. The evidence professor who's in South Carolina, and asked him to pull some case law to help us find some precedent to get me back in court, because once I was on the defense's list of witnesses, but I was removed. So the question is, now that I've been removed and the state has given no notice to the court prior to this that they're going to be calling me, I haven't been summoned or subpoenaed or anything like that. What does that mean? Does that mean that I still have to be sequestered? Because we're pretty sure nobody's going to call me. So Colin found some on-point case law within an hour yesterday, sent it to Justin, and then Justin raised his objection again to me being sequestered. What I understand is there was a bench conference, and the judge tabled it, which is a little bit frustrating because it means...
Which is like reserving decisions. So
right. He hasn't decided whether or not
Gotcha.
I'll be sequestered, but in the meantime, I am sequestered. And, practically speaking, I'm not there. So my concern is that... on one hand, I'm concerned that, look, I'm going to be, all the witnesses are going to go by and I'm going to be sequestered till the end. What's the point of that? I feel like, either he should make a decision or not. On the other hand, at the same time, I am happy to know that things are going well in court, and what's important is what's happening in the courtroom, not necessarily whether or not I am in that courtroom, because my presence is not going to make an impact other than maybe the family feels some moral support, but they have a lot of supporters in there. And I'm much better rested today, so I feel better about it today. Yesterday I was a little more upset, but it's okay, because it's really about Adnan, and as long as things are going well inside the courtroom, I'm good.
Now, I know you don't know the testimony, and I'm certainly not going to be the one to
No, I haven't been on social media at all.
Right. So I'm not gonna bring anything that Asia testified to your attention. However, based on what you know from the last 17 years about Asia's observations, explain to us how she's not mistaken that she was actually with Adnan at the time that the crime allegedly occurred.
Right.
That it wasn't the week before or the week,
right.
well, not actually the week
well,
after.
So I'll tell you.
Okay, so that's something that
when I met Asia, because what happened was Adnan was convicted, and then I was like, what the hell? Where were you after school? And he gave me the whole, I thought I was at school, and I thought but this girl sent me these letters, and I thought I was with her, but then my lawyer checked and said it was the wrong day, and she never, anyhow, the point is I eventually met with Asia, and Asia said that, nobody ever contacted me, so the lawyer had never checked. But when Asia told me that this is what I remember, and she actually specifically told me then that school was closed for 2 days. So I remember going back then at the time and looking for that to confirm whether or not that was true. And I found out that it was true because over a year had gone by at this point. But I found out that school had been closed because there had been this insane storm in the area, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's right. She has the right date because what Adnan had heard was from his lawyer that she had the dates wrong, and I'm like, this is crap because it could have been easily corroborated at the time. You have the school schedule, you have the weather stuff, you have maybe at the time there would have been some cameras. The library actually had cameras too, and apparently Asia had checked or she had told Adnan to check. I can't remember, but
how do you know that the library, and we're talking about the public library they were allegedly in, how do you know there were cameras on that day?
Because I asked. I went back to the library and after I had spoken to Asia and I had asked about them, but at that time they're like, well, we do, but they had one video that I think every couple of weeks they taped over. So, even if.
And what is the state's position from what you know about the cameras?
I don't know if they have. I don't know if they have a position on the camera issue. We haven't. I have no idea. So.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't heard them say anything about the camera. I know that the state are going to try to attack Asia in a number of ways. There's only a couple of ways they can attack her. They can attack her by saying that she's straight up lying, right? That she was trying to cover for Adnan and she made up, which I think is so easy to dismiss. Or they can say that her memory's wrong, right? But neither of those things excuse Gutierrez from not contacting her. Gutierrez wouldn't know.
Which is the issue.
Don't
understand that's the issue. The issue, which I think is so important, and I'll let you say about this, but I think both of us as lawyers know, the issue is not whether Asia McClain was an alibi. The issue is whether the lawyer was ineffective in not investigating that alibi, and then let the jury decide.
Right.
That's the whole point of this.
Right.
Let the friggin' jury decide.
Or even the lawyer
Asia.
themselves. How is the lawyer supposed to decide if a witness is effective unless you talk to the witness, right? She could, a lawyer's job is to talk to all the people you can talk to and see who is going to help your case and who's not going to work for your case.
Yes.
You can't make that decision without actually talking to somebody.
Yes.
And especially in a case like this where it's literally the lawyer knew there's no physical evidence. There's one witness. So it's like a he said, she, you have all it is I think
what's great about this type of proceeding is that it's a hearing and not a trial, because you don't have lay people deciding, well, I don't like her, I do like her. No, it's the judge knows the law, and just to see whether this meets that threshold of getting a new trial.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's what,
there is a question of whether or not her ineffective assistance led to that's one of the prongs, right? It can't just be that she failed her duty, but also that failure caused had a material impact on the outcome of the case. And in a case like this, it absolutely could have, because the jury then would decide, like you said, whether or not she's believable, not believable. And Asia, from the one time I met her, and I met her one time, but what I've heard of her from other people and what I've heard of her in her testimony is that she's an incredibly credible witness. She is very, very solid. She had no reason to lie. She had no relationship with Adnan. If Asia wanted to give him a false alibi, or if we were going to put her under duress to give him an alibi, we would have. Who does it after a conviction? Why would we wait till after he's convicted to say, oh, let me now find a witness to put direct? Or why would Asia have backed down when she talked to Urich, right? If she was on a non-side or biased in any way, she wouldn't have been calling the state and saying, oh, okay, and then been totally out of it. She has no incentive. She has no interest in helping Adnan. She just wants the truth out there. And I think that's what makes her credible. And that was for a jury to decide whether or not. And it was, and Tina, by any standard, failed. You don't even have to be a lawyer to know that you freaking call an alibi witness and talk to them. That's just basic. So, anyhow, I'm comfortable with that. I hope the judge sees the gravity of what could have, how his trial was impacted by Asia not being there.
So we are at now 3:30 on day 2 or something? So what is Justin Brown and the team going to make another application for your sequester to be lifted?
I don't know. I was like, don't forget me. Well, I was actually hoping that once Asia wrapped up and
the tweeters have not forgotten you.
yeah, I guess. But I was hoping that after Asia's testimony, which really, if my testimony would be relevant to anything, it would be Asia's, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
I have nothing to do with the cell phone stuff. That at least before the cell phone experts testify that they would try to get me back in, but so far nothing.
No, but I think the prosecution may want to call you. I'm not saying why. I'm saying
They might. Well, they're the ones who
why,
they're the
right,
ones who
who
said, right? I mean,
sequestered,
right. They sequestered me.
But
it's
I'm
not
saying
that.
But if you're connecting,
Right, but why
you're
could I not
connecting-
be there during cell phone expert testimony?
Oh, yes, let you
because
back in.
yeah, and then
because they want to make it cleaner. They just that's what I think.
yeah,
That's what I think.
I guess.
So
that's fine.
okay. So your hope now is that Justin reapplies for your admission.
I mean,
to
at some
the
point, I
court.
guess the judge has to make some kind of. I'm guessing the judge is like, whatever, just leave her out of it at this point, and it's okay. I have come to terms with it. It's fine.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time in the hallway upstairs this morning, sitting there, like at the end of the hall from the courtroom. Like, like somebody just waits, like, for somebody to give birth or something. Like you're in the hospital. Like that's how I felt. I'm just like just waiting. Because all I want to know when people come out is thumbs up or thumbs down. Are things going well or not? And so far things are going well. And that's good. That's fine. Adnan knows I'm here. He knows I'm wandering around. Like, I'm in the periphery. So he knows that he has my support.
Wonderful. All right, we'll check back in with you later.
Thanks.